They're pulling out all the stops. The trial is coming. And mainstream media is doing everything they can to bolster the reputations of the people facing Kyle Rittenhouse in the trial. And of course, who is facing him more than anyone else? Clair Binger. And so this video is all about trying to improve his image for the coming trial. The journalist is going to do her best. It's a tough job. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnnie Walker Dredd to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnnie Walker Dredd Show.
And by the way, if you want to see a real example of biased anti-Kyle videos, go check out the one that posted by the New York Times here within the last 24 hours. Good grief. Okay. The man of the hour, Clair Binger. We all know who he is. Apparently, she doesn't. Let's listen in.
Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger is the lead prosecutor in the case against Kyle Rittenhouse.
We have a person armed with an AR-15 shooting an unarmed man. I don't think you get to kill somebody with a gun when they're unarmed.
He contends.
Wait, I don't think you get to kill somebody with a gun if they're unarmed. Where is that in the law? There isn't a self-defense expert on the planet that will agree with that statement. Now, admittedly, if the other person is unarmed, it makes it a little bit more difficult. The chances are smaller, but there are plenty of examples of people shooting unarmed people with a gun and claiming successfully self-defense. Who in here really thinks that if you have a little 80-year-old woman who's got a gun and she gets attacked by a 400-pound brute that she can't pull out her gun and shoot him? Who here thinks that? Well, Clair Binger evidently does. It's amazing. They're choosing sound bites to try to bolster his reputation, and they chose that one, an obvious falsehood. But keep in mind, they're playing to their audience, and their audience perfectly believes that if you're armed, you can never shoot an unarmed person.
The night Rittenhouse shot 3 protesters, killing 2 of them, it was intentional and reckless and not self-defense.
The question is, what was his state of mind and whether or not his actions were reasonable or not.
Binger has been with the Kenosha County DA's office since 2014.
Now, you might be wondering, huge case drawing national attention. Why isn't the district attorney Michael Gravely on the case? Well, he tells 12 News that when the Rittenhouse shooting happened, he was tied up reviewing the police shooting of Jacob Blake, which happened 2 days prior and ultimately sparked the riots.
Yeah, it happened 2 days prior and was wrapped up a long time ago. Gravely could have taken over the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting if he wanted.
Gravely tells 12 News, quote, Attorney Binger is an experienced, skilled prosecutor with prior successful homicide prosecution experience.
This looks like one of those recommendation letters you write for somebody when you really don't want to write one. He's got prior successful homicide prosecution experience. Yeah, he probably does. He has probably successfully convicted people of murder. They were probably innocent, but yeah, who's splitting hairs here? The only other examples I could conjure are people who are so guilty with so much evidence against them that not even Clair Binger could screw it up.
He has lost some key evidence motions leading up to the trial.
Some? He's lost some? He's lost pretty much all of them. Except for, like, the one example you're going to give here in a moment. But your video lasts 1 minute and 58 seconds. If you wanted to use his examples of the ones that he did lose, it would be 40 minutes and 58 seconds. The guy hasn't won hardly anything because he's boneheaded.
The judge won't allow the state to link Rittenhouse to the extremist group Proud Boys. And against the state's wishes,
we appreciate you guys, we really do.
Video of officers thanking armed civilians will be allowed. In the state's favor, the judge blocked the defense from bringing up victim Joseph Rosenbaum's criminal past.
I think I could have won that one. In fact, I had a video out where I explained that Joseph Rosenbaum's criminal past was not going to be ruled relevant. And pretty much all of my commenters agreed. We all knew the defense wasn't going to win that. And so, yeah, Thomas Clair Binger, great job. You won something. You got a bone.
Their behavior that night has nothing to do with this case unless it was witnessed by the defendant.
Binger also cannot call the men who were shot victims.
I disagree. I think the state should be allowed to use it. We have a statute called the Victims' Rights Law. We have a constitutional amendment protecting the rights of victims. Our office works very hard to protect the rights of people that are victims of crime.
Victims of crime. You moron. Why in the world did you say that? This is going to make Binger boneheaded moment number 6. You're wanting to use the term victim. The connotation is that by calling them a victim, you're making it look like they're a victim of crime, and there's a person that's accused of that crime who's innocent until proven guilty. So why in the hell would you use the term victim of crime in your explanation? Well, I know why. It's Binger. I got to say something else here. If he had hired an intern to look over his arguments first, I think the intern would have caught that. Hell, it could be an undergraduate. Mr. Binger, I was looking through your motion here, and here you explain that some people are victims of crime, and I don't know if that's a good idea. Do you really want to use victims of crime? Because that kind of insinuates that a crime has been committed against them. And you know what Binger would say? I don't understand. Let's move on.
Monday, Rittenhouse's fate will be in the hands of a jury. In Kenosha, Hillary Mintz, WSN 12 News.
Get ready for a lot more of this, guys. To a real discerning viewer, this is hardly praiseworthy of Thomas Clair Binger. But to all the unwitting sheep out there, like my video, subscribe to my channel.